Welcome to Shooty Super Coach. Hope you guys are going well out there. And it's always a difficult realisation when it gets to this stage of the season, you're looking through the side and you're looking through your trades, and you come to that realisation that you're not going to finish off with the side that you quite wanted. It'll be complete and it'll be okay, but it's not going to quite be what we had wanted. And today's a big day. It's a tough day, but I am breaking it off with Luke Davies-Uniacke. It's been a roller coaster relationship with me and Luke, but roller coaster might be a stretch, actually. It's been largely down for most of the time, but I've had a lot of faith in mine and Luke's relationship and was planning to let him go soon, but he beat me to the punch. Bit of it's you, not me, or it's me, not you kind of deal. I don't know what it is. But, Lukey boy, you're going to have to go. And I think it's going to have to be a downgrade. Look, we'll discuss... Oh, that's not even what I was doing. These was me thinking through some of the trades. Where was I? I titled it something stupid. I think it's round 18 with another 8. So, look, there are a few things from the live, but if you're on the live, it was largely just us talking absolute crap for the most part, mixed in with a bit of Supercoach. But... pretty much it is tricky. I feel like we have so many trades and we still find a way to burn them. Personally, I probably took a few more risks at the start of the year, trying to do something different, trying to make it a bit interesting. Did not pay off at all. And I'm sort of paying the price for that. So that's probably why I feel like I'm, dwindling at probably completing the side with 2 trades left. So for me, the way I'm looking at it is Luke Davies-Uniacke actually has to be a downgrade because I can't really afford to... there's no one I really like around 500, and that's all the cash I've got. So I'd have to do another downgrade to get maybe an Ed Richards or an Errol Goulden or some Tom Green. And I need all the cash I can get because I've also got to turn someone into Max Gawn when he drops. So I've done the maths. My upgrades... or guys I can upgrade are Johnson, Hall, and Dewar. And as you can see, none of them are even beyond 250k. So they've got reasonable break-evens, but sort of planning to look at them as they're my upgrades. I hope they can get to 300k. But if Gawn's going to get to 550, there's a 250k spend. And then if, let's say, Hall gets to, or Johnson, Hall, whichever one I didn't say before, say they both get to 300, and maybe I pick off a fallen premium at 500k, I'm still going to need 450 spend. So it's going to be cutting it pretty fine, and I'm just not... I'm not in a position to go... I could easily go, Johnson down to someone and then Luke Davies-Uniacke up to Goulden, but I'm going to fall short on Gawn or have to use an extra trade. It probably sounds super confusing, but I've done the maths, and I'm just going to have to take every single dollar I can and hope that Johnson and Hall is actually playing well. I'm hopeful that Dewar can come back soon. His absence has actually hurt me pretty bad, from a cash gem point of view. I really need someone who's around 350 right now, and he could have been it over the next week or two. He would have perfectly timed in with an offloading of him into a fallen Gawn, but it hasn't worked. Let's take a look at the teams. I'm pretty much going to either complete this side with 2 trades left, or I think if it's 2 trades left, I'm going to probably have to pick off a premium in the midfield for about 480, 490. But if I want to go one more downgrade, leave me with 1 trade and a fair bit, 100k in the bank or something like that, plus an Ed Richards or someone like that. Not too sure how I'll approach it, but we're just trying to get through week by week. Who's the sub tonight? Obviously, Pitnet is hanging around, which is not great. Not great. So, in a perfect world, I'd offload to Koenig, probably ahead of Luke Davies-Uniacke. But, yeah, it's just hasn't aligned with, he's not in my flex, so it makes it tricky. There's no rookie downgrades in the ruck or anything like that. So, boy, do we just need no carnage, please. No carnage. Goodness me. It's the last thing we need here. Nothing unexpected, please. Smith comes back. Whitfield comes back. That's nice. We wanted that. Jai Caldwell going out will hurt a few. Obviously, old mate Sardis has come back in. Would you look at that? Yeah, nothing too crazy. Erasmus might frustrate some. Kelshire coming back, I reckon. I feel like James Sicily could bounce back. I'm not saying right now this week, but I reckon he could fall to about 370k and just be a perfect D7. If he can just settle in defence, could be a chance. There goes Lukey boy. Couple come back there. Darcy Wilson dropped. Why are they dropping him? I feel like he's a good player, or at least worth persisting with. That's wild. Sandy Brock out. Allen out. Or Kelly dropped. Sure. Oh, Dewar's been named. Let's go, baby. I did not think he'd be in. Gross named. Yeah, Liddy's back. Obviously, these are extended benches. So Clay Hall actually named on the ground. We love that. So Dewar's there. You'd imagine if he's been named, he plays because he was in good form. I reckon Marek gets in. Dewar gets in. Hutchison gets in. And Williams, I reckon, will be the 4. So that's really helpful. Just for that cash gen, that'd be perfect because, yeah, Dewar was a risky type of inclusion, but he's actually turned out to be pretty good. He was playing a nice role. I wonder if this will affect McCarthy at all because Dewar was playing a little bit wing, little half-back sort of role. But I think he's got a really nice break-even. Yeah, beautiful break-even. So hopefully he can just continue to produce well. We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, just a strange time of the year when you sort of, it's not quite going to come together. You know, Horn Francis has been a poor inclusion, put a lot of faith in him. You know, maybe a perfect world, Will Ashcroft may not be in your final side, but he's going to have to be. And we're just going to have to ride the waves with a few guys that, you know, like the Sheasels of the world and other guys, you know, De Koning, just praying that, I just want 90s from De Koning. I just want him to have the lion's share of the ruck and do some things. But, yeah, it's a tough balance, isn't it? Do I trade for the absolute best team that I want but have no trades or one trade left? Or do I trade to a point where I have a somewhat complete team, but you've got your De Konings and those types of guys, but I've got a few trades left? You know, I think people will be having that. Do I hold a few trades for a rainy day? My advice would be yes. Hold the trades for a rainy day. It may never rain, but at least you can cover yourself if it does, which could be a huge advantage. And look, let's not forget that it is only round 18, isn't it? You know, like we've got plenty of football to go. It's round 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks to go. So 7 weeks out is not the time you want to be just having one trade left. I could understand burning a few on the eve of our league finals, round 21, 22, just trying to ride your luck. But historically, players will be rested. Some might go in for surgery earlier when sides' seasons are done. So just be mindful that I would be trying to aim and complete your team with at least 3 trades left. I'll probably be at 2, but that's my own doing for some poor trades and poor selections off the start of the year. Probably just some poor selections, to be fair. But yeah, I would be hesitant at having 0 trades right now because we will cop some injuries, no doubt about it. But yeah, just stick around for Sicily. I'm optimistic that he can be, at under 400, a real genuine bench option. It'd be great if he got defensive forward, but I don't think he can. I think those positions have already gone. But let's take a look at some of what we covered in the live. So yeah, we'll be back live on Wednesday this week. I was on the Tuesday night just because had a dinner on Wednesday, mate's birthday. So just a bit of a holiday special, unexpected one. We went out in Melbourne, so yeah, just had to change it up. But I think probably the big one that people were talking about was Caldwell and who to replace him with. The obvious one is Zach Merritt. You know, Merritt goes back to the role that we all know he should have played. And I don't know why. Why do teams love to stuff around with like their best player because they are so good? It's like, oh, maybe we can create a bit of a... Yeah, they're good enough to play a half-forward sort of roll-up type of role. Like, just stop mucking around with it. Keep him in the guts. Like, we've seen it done with Warner and other guys where, you know, they just play these different type of roles and it occasionally works, but I don't know why we mess with some of their their key roles when they're just guns in that position. 81% centre bounce, well up on his last 5 or 6 weeks. So just keep him there. He's the play. If you've already got Merritt, let's take a look at a few options below Caldwell. So he's at 530. McRae, obviously available as a forward, good option. I think Lockie Neal, he's been up and down, but he's a reliable 105 average. And best case, he might get back to some really good form, go 110. I wouldn't jump at him, but it's not a bad price for someone like him. Dunkley, it's been a quiet month or so for him. I wouldn't launch at it, but he's someone who's got runs on the board in the past. I do feel like Sinclair, now's not the week, but I do think he'll respond. He's a guy to consider. And they're probably the main ones. Obviously there's a few names bobbing up here and that, but I think if you were dealt with the situation, I think it would have to be Lockie Neal. He's a proven performer. Yeah, he's been frustrating in the way he's been 120, 75, 125, 80. It's been a strange season, but yeah, I do feel like that'd be the play. The other play could be, if you're making a trade anyway and you're short on cash, do you try and go someone a bit more value just to pocket 100k? Do you just back in Paddy Cripps? All right, he might find some form. I can pocket an extra 100k, or do you do that with Horn Francis? Or it's probably not anyone. We're getting pretty rough down here, but yeah, do you take some risks? I mean, hasn't Max Hall been one of the more bizarre rookie rides? Thought he was just going to be nothing, be like a 280k bloke at best. Now he's going to get to probably 500k. Ridiculous. Who would have thought? But I think that's the play. Merritt, if you don't have him, probably Neal. I always sort of lean towards the more tried and true proved performers like a Neal or a Dunkley. But George Stevens looked great. Word of warning, he's a strong sub chance. Strong chance to be out of the Cats side at some stage, but he did look very good. I said the same thing about Jack Martin, and so far he's probably proven me wrong, but I will say that Geelong do chop and change that sort of 22nd, 23rd player a bit, so just be careful. Lockie Whitfield comes back in. I think he's a guy that we can finish off our backlines with if you haven't already. Pretty big break even off the back of that 16 or whatever it was the other day. Going on the drop, I just wanted to mention a lot of people we've been waiting and waiting for him to drop, and he finally is. We probably never thought we'd see the day where he scored 90, and he's done that, and another poor score to have his break-even at 195. So thank goodness for that. He's finally going to go under 600k. Having said that, he'll probably go nuts and dominate this week. And yeah, TDK, I mean, I've got him there to talk about, but there's not much to talk about. If you can afford to get rid of him, do it. Otherwise, we might just have to ride it out. But it's very frustrating. Hopefully, he can just produce a 90 tonight. But vice captains and captains, I feel like I'm going to go Noah Anderson or Nick Dacos with the VC. Probably into Marcus Bontempelli. I mean, I think you'd probably, like, with the rucks playing each other, you might avoid there. But yeah, I think that's probably the way I'd go. Obviously, got to switch those guys. Yeah, I think that's probably the way I'd do it. But yeah, probably going to try and... I'll have a bit of a play around with it. I've still got to do my final trade. Shanahan is another guy to speak about. Look, he was good last week, scored 94. I wouldn't expect that all too many times, but hey, he's got the runs on the board. I'm pretty sure he was named in the team. Didn't see him drop, so you'd be surprised. Should get opportunity. But yeah, let us know what you're thinking. I'm on holidays at the moment, so I'll be able to get round to your questions tomorrow. So feel free to chuck them through. I'll get through to a few comments then. But yeah, have a good weekend, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.